Hi grade 3, it's time to finish practicing 4-digit number names and numerals before we do our exit test. Here I've got some blocks somebody has dropped all over the floor. Let's have a look at these blocks. These are MABs that you will hopefully practice with in the lesson before. So we've got here a thousands block. What else have we got? A tens block, a tens block, a 1, another 1, and a 1, and a 1, and a tens, and another tens, and another tens. Let's work out what this number is. I'm going to draw a little table here, like the one you've seen before, with thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. Now I'm going to go along and put into the columns the right amount of blocks. So going back, I'm going to have a look at the ones first. Here's a 1, here's a 1, here's a 1, and here's a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ones in the ones column. Now I'm going to go to the tens. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tens. Hundreds. Any hundreds blocks there? No, I can't see any hundreds blocks. So I'm going to put a 0. And now I need some thousands. And we have 1 block of thousands. There we have it. There's our number, a 4-digit number, 1054. Interesting that we have no hundreds in this number, isn't it? All right, let's take a numeral expander now, here, and write the numbers into the numeral expander. So how many thousands do we have? 1. How many hundreds? None. How many tens? 5. And how many ones? 4. And there's our number, 1054. Now, move that over here for you. I'm going to write that number. And, all right, here we go. Let's write that number. 1, O-N-E, thousand, and 1,000 and no hundreds, 1054. There we go. And that's how we write this number, 1054. Now it's time to practice by opening up Dropbox and finding the sheet called Numbers to 1000 in the folder, and the sheet is called Fluency 1 Further Practice with 4-digit Numbers. Complete this activity and save your work into your Dropbox folder. In this part of the lesson, we're going to use 4-digit numbers in an everyday context. So the everyday context that I've found is distance when we're travelling. And I've got a map of Australia here which shows some different places that maybe you've been to. Maybe you've been all the way over here to Western Australia and you've been to Perth, or maybe you've been on a holiday to Cairns up the top of Queensland, or maybe you've been lucky enough to go down to Tasmania and seen Hobart down here. So Australia is a very big country, so when we're looking at Australia, we look at the distance in kilometres. Now the kilometres are going to be 4 digits long, so in the thousands, because there's such a lot of distance between different towns and cities in Australia. Loads of land all the way over Australia. So the first one I wanted to look at was from Brisbane, so Brisbane's just near us, all the way up to Cairns. And you can see on my map that distance is 1,391 kilometres. So I'm going to write that number just in here, 1,391 kilometres. Next, I have a distance from Brisbane to Melbourne, down here. Melbourne is the capital of Victoria. So the distance from Brisbane to Melbourne is 1,381 kilometres. So Brisbane to Melbourne, 1,381 kilometres. Which of these two distances is greater? Which one is it further to travel to? Let's have a look. Our ones column is the same, 1 and 1. Our tens column is different. This one is 9 and this one is 8. So far this number's bigger, but I need to check the hundreds column and the thousands column. And look, they're the same. 300 and 1,000, they're both the same there. So it is a greater distance to go from Brisbane to Cairns because it's 1,391, whereas Brisbane to Melbourne is 1,381. So that, if you wanted to know, is a difference of 10 kilometres. So it is 10 kilometres longer to go to Cairns than it is to go to Melbourne. Let's have a look at this map. So this time we're going from Brisbane and we're going all the way up to the Northern Territory in Darwin. And that distance is 2,852 kilometres. And then I'm going to compare it with a distance from Brisbane all the way over to Perth. And that's a long way. That's 3,615 kilometres. And here are those numbers written down here. Brisbane to Darwin, 2,852. Brisbane to Perth, 3,615. So which one of these two is the greater number? Well, this one, my eyes go straight to the thousands column. This one has a 2 in the thousand column and this one has a 3 in the thousand column. So straight away I can see that Brisbane to Perth is a greater distance than Brisbane to Darwin. And in this map I'm going from Brisbane up to Townsville, which is just below Cairns, and then I'm going to go Brisbane to Hobart. So let's have a look at those two different distances. Brisbane to Hobart is 1,790. Oh, sorry, no. Brisbane to Townsville is 1,112 kilometres. That's this one here. Now Brisbane to Hobart, going down here, Brisbane to Hobart is 1,791 kilometres. So which of those two distances is the greater? Let's have a look. They've both got 1 in the thousands column. So that's no help to me. I need to go to the hundreds column. So this one has a 7 in the hundreds column and this one has a 1 in the hundreds column. So straight away I can see that Brisbane to Hobart is further than Brisbane to Townsville.
And it just died.
That's not good.
Why didn't you bother taking the SIM card out and getting the other phone?
Because it's not worth it.
Let's have a look at this table here of distances from Brisbane to different cities around Australia. So we've got Brisbane to Cairns, Brisbane to Melbourne, Brisbane to Darwin, Brisbane to Hobart, Brisbane to Perth and Brisbane to Townsville, with how many kilometres they are here written on the side. So what I'm going to do in this table down below is put these 4-digit numbers, these distances, in order from greatest to least. So let's start with the first one. I'm going to look in the thousands column first. So here's the thousands column, and I've got a 1 1,000, a 1,000, a 2,000, a 1,000, a 3,000, and a 1,000. So straight away I can see that the distance Brisbane to Perth is the largest distance because it has 3,617 kilometres. So let's write that one in here. 3,617 kilometres. Next, I'm going to go to the number that has 2,000 in it because it's the only one with a 2 in it, and that's less than 3. So Brisbane to Darwin was 2,852. 2,852. Now the next number, all my distances have a 1 in the thousands column. So I'm going to have to move now to the hundreds column and see which one is the biggest. Which is the biggest out of the hundreds column? 3, 3, 7, 1. There we go. It's this one here. 1,791, Brisbane to Hobart. 1791, which is 1,791. Okay, next I've got in the hundreds column a 3, and a 1. Okay, so 3's next, so it's down to these two. So then I've got to go to the tens column. So I have a 9 and an 8. So there we go. It's Brisbane to Cairns goes next with 1,391 kilometres. And then I know that the next one is Brisbane to Melbourne with 1,381. And the shortest distance is this one here, Brisbane to Townsville with 1,112 kilometres. 1,112 kilometres. Now it's your turn to have a go with this new sheet in your Dropbox. In this one, your distances are from Perth, not from Brisbane. So from Perth to all different cities in Australia with distances. Your job is to write the distances in order from the greatest to the least, going down here. And then in each of these pairs here, colour in the little dot beside the distance that is greater. Let's have a look at the first one. Perth to Broome. Now there's Perth and there's Broome. 1,675. Or Perth to Alice Springs. Perth to Alice Springs is 1,996. So the greatest distance there is the one to Alice Springs. So I would get my pencil and colour in that little dot there. Okay, this worksheet is in your Dropbox, so go ahead and have a go at that one now. Make sure you save it as well.